Welcome to the Creating Wealth Simplified podcast. My name is Lauren Wells, here with my co-host, Chris Seveney. We're committed to providing you with the knowledge required to build wealth through real estate investing. Tired of consuming content about real estate? Stuck in analysis paralysis? Ready to do your first deal? As a member of our community, you will learn how to go from consuming content to taking that first step into the world of real estate investing. Our show is not about getting rich quick, but about providing you with the knowledge you need to take action. Join us as we speak with experienced investors who share action tips on how to escape the corporate world, start a thriving side hustle in the world of real estate, and go beyond your W-2 or 401k.
Welcome back to another episode of the Creating Wealth Simplified podcast, where we demystify the world of investing and provide practical insights for creating wealth. I am your host, Chris Seveney, and in today's episode, we're going to dive into a very special topic. We're going to talk about the top 5 myths in note investing. So this is something that, to me, I see a lot of comments and posts and forums about note investing, what it is not. So I just want to debunk a lot of these myths that are out there. So let's start with myth number 1 that talks about the risk in note investing and kind of plays along both sides, where some people say note investing is too risky and other people say, well, note investing doesn't have significant risk. So let's talk about that. And let's talk about some of the main points I want to get across is the different types of notes, these risk factors, and kind of some of the strategies to mitigate these risks. Let's first talk about situations where people think it is too risky. And this is common when people are looking at non-performing loans, meaning the borrower is not paying. Now, dealing with a non-performing loan does have significant risk because you have the risk of, making a mistake between you, the attorney, the servicer, the potential risk of being sued. A borrower could file a lawsuit claiming that they don't owe the funds. So significant risk involved in buying non-performing mortgages. Now, let's go to the other spectrum where people say, well, there's no risk in performing loans because I have a borrower who owes me $50,000 on a $100,000 home. So, there's no risk, but that also is not true because let's say you paid $45,000 for that $50,000 note. Now you have to potentially, they stop paying, something happens, they pass away, job loss, whatever the case may be. Now you have to foreclose. Now, again, lots of risk can be involved in that foreclosure process, especially if you're not experienced, that you'd have to go through. And it could take, depending on the state, years. So it can have risk impact of having a significant, impact on your return. So every single investment has risk, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on in another topic that people think. But just understand, there's ways to mitigate risks, such as doing proper due diligence, having good attorney on your team, diversifying and not just buying one note, and working with experienced team members. Like I said, it's so important that you work with experienced team and gain the knowledge that you need to be able to make informed decisions. Because the less you know, the more risk there is. So talk about number 2, kind of moving topics. Note investing is only for the wealthy. A lot of people will look at real estate investing, recording this in April 2024, and I just saw a post, only 16% of people who make the median income can afford the median home. That's like all-time lows. Usually it's around 50%. Only 16%. So people think real estate, I can't get involved in real estate. But what's cool about note investing, and a myth I want to debunk, is you don't need to be wealthy. You just need to have access to inventory. For example, you go on PaperStack today, PaperStack.com, and that is a website where people list individual notes for sale. And there's over 100 assets on there. And the majority of those can be bought for under $50,000. Now, compared to traditional real estate, you're pretty much only getting land or something in a very troubled area for that type of price. Now, you could buy a first position lien, where the borrowers own the loan for 10 or 15 years and have paid it down and they have equity in their house. You could buy a second position loan on $1 million property where maybe they owed $50,000 from a line of credit. And again, equity or whatever in the property. But you can buy notes and be a note investor. You don't have to be wealthy. Now, I do want to stipulate, you do need to have money. These schemes where, you don't need any money to get in, you can get OPM or other people's money, forget all of that. You need to have your own money, and you want to make sure if you have $25,000 that you don't buy a $25,000 note, because you want to make sure you have money in case there's other expenses. So something important. And besides like PaperStack, there's other investment groups. I'm active on Bigger Pockets. We have the Creating Wealth Simplified Facebook group. We have our YouTube channel. We have people on our buyers list. We have newsletters. There's a lot of platforms where we can go out and find low cost entry notes. The other thing I'll mention as part of this is, it's not only for the wealthy. I'll see people like, you can finance loans. I'll go get a loan against a loan. The chances of that happening are slim to none, and slim left town. For us, for example, we've talked to people in the past, and unless you've got about 20 million in assets, you might find a bank that could do hypothecate, which is give you money on one. But the time and hours you're going to spend, if you monetize that, is not going to be worth it. So it's not for the wealthy. You don't need to be wealthy, but you do need to have money in order to get involved in note investing. So reality, it is more accessible than people think. And there are multiple entry points at various financial levels. And I'll just finish that segment by saying, I wrote a post recently. I think my first investment in notes in 2018 was like $16,000, $17,000. And that was for 4 notes. I just saw a tape come out on Friday that had assets from anywhere from $2,000 up to $500,000 on it. So there are options available to you. Number 3, this is for any investment out there. I don't care whether you're investing in stocks, bonds, crypto, notes, real estate, horses, whatever it is. Someone says returns are guaranteed. Run, and run as fast as you've ever ran, or get in a car and slam on the gas. I see people use clickbait on ads that saying, guaranteed 15% or guaranteed to make money. And they're like, that was just clickbait. Well, that's also against SEC rules and regulations. But like anything, you could have a performing loan where the borrower's been paying for 10 years and pays on time. Life happens. How many people in life had life going real well for them and something hiccup comes? Death, divorce, health issue, job loss. That all happens. There's so many variables that are out there that people just understand. It doesn't matter what you're investing in. Nothing is guaranteed. And if somebody's trying to sell you on something saying, this is pretty much guaranteed, or this is a slam dunk, run. I've had conversations with people. Yes, I would view this as a lower risk, but there's still significant risk involved. It also goes back to, that aspect of when you talk about guarantees and risk, that what we talked about earlier, due diligence, and understanding that when people throw out these high returns out there, people got to understand, what risk am I taking to get there? An analogy I like to say is, you've seen game shows. What was that, like Deal or No Deal, where they'd open the suitcases to get to the $1 million? And you basically, your odds of getting that million, you can win $1 million, but your odds are so low. When someone's out there promising all these significant returns, what are those chances? It's like, so, the chances are you could walk away with nothing, or you could walk away with that return. Or if someone said, hey, look, you can walk away with 20,000. If you invest 20, I can double your money or walk away with nothing. To me, that sounds like putting it on red or black at the casino. But if someone says, hey, on a $20,000 investment, hey, look, I'll probably get you $1,500, $2,000 a year. but we don't anticipate, based off of our models, we don't anticipate any significant losses, or if they are, they're going to be minor. But we also don't experience any big significant gains. Like, which ride do you want to go on? Do you want to go on the uneventful one, or do you want to go on the roller coaster? So understand that nothing is guaranteed. Number 4, and this one I laugh when I hear this. We hope you're enjoying this episode of Creating Wealth Simplified. We wanted to take a moment and tell you more about our passive income fund at Seveney, which is open to both accredited and non-accredited investors. Our latest offering targets an 8% annual return distributed monthly, with the ability to potentially achieve a greater return through our bonus share program. If you'd like more information, reach out to us at invest@seveneyinvestments.com to learn more. Thank you. And this is true, again, in any type of investment out there. No, note investing's passive. It's mailbox money. You can set it and forget it. That can be the case, but rarely is it. You still have to do significant due diligence. You still have to manage and check. And most of the time, there is a active component. Now, I own real estate, and I have rentals, and I have property managers. That doesn't mean that it's truly passive. I still get calls to say, hey, you need to make a decision on this. You need to make a decision on that. Unless you're investing in a fund or a syndication where you don't have any control, that is passive, but you still need to, do something, check in. But note investing, again, have a performing loan. Borrower says, oh, I got a hole in my roof I got to fix. Can I skip 3 months of payments? Now you got to go through, okay, what does this look like? Can I do this? Can I not do this? I got to call a servicer. I got to figure it out. Can you get more information from the borrower? Do they have insurance? Why isn't insurance covering it? What caused the hole in the roof? Is it really 3 months or is it 6 months? Can they, send me their bank statements, their tax returns? I'm just curious how much money they have. Do they even have a hole in the roof? And I'm sorry for talking fast, but those are just the 50 things that will cause you to go into a tailspin and realize these scenarios, even on performing loans, are not passive. So there's a lot that you still need to manage, and it's your investment. So understand. Now there's, again, putting better team members in place, your servicer, your attorney, and others can have a considerable impact between how passive and how active you're going to be. But don't get sold on the promise that, this is something that you can, I easily can spend 15 minutes, go find the notes, invest $25,000 and just, watch money just come into my account forever. Typically, again, not the case. Now, it does happen once in a while, and it typically is less hands-on than other real estate investments, but it still requires that attention and management. Last one I want to talk about is note investing is easy. There used to be a guru out there who would tell you make $250,000 in your first year by buying a $50,000 loan with a $50,000 balance for $25,000. Use somebody else's money. You get them that are behind, give you $5,000 down, keep paying, and then turn around and sell that note for $45,000. So you made $25,000, and all that will be done in 6 months. And just keep doing that and do that 10 times in 1 year, and you got $250,000. It's not easy. It is complex. It is challenging. And there are many situations that go beyond just a simple note investor to challenging legal implications or decisions that need to be made, and understanding all the gray, because note investing is not black and white. There's a lot of gray that plays into that space. And we talk about that on the podcast, our webinars, putting the team in place, everything you need to know. And one of my good friends, Al, mentioned this when we were talking about note investing because he wanted to learn about it. And we both graduated together. We both have degrees in civil engineering. And the best way he explained it to me was, this is all cool. And you get an education, but education and learning isn't knowledge. It's just information. And the analogy he used, which, stuck with me, was, hey, look, in college, we went and took a class on concrete. We learned about different types of tensile and strengths in concrete and using different types of rebar and rebar spacing and, its compressive strength and, many different aspects of like two-way slabs and, all this stuff on concrete. Really cool stuff. But just because I took a class on it doesn't mean that I could go build a bridge or design a bridge or go design a building. That experience, that takes working with somebody who's done it. That takes time, that takes knowledge, that takes advanced education. And unfortunately, I see that a lot today where gurus will do a weekend course and make it sound easy. And the only thing they teach you on is marketing, how to market or obtain notes, how to market or do this, how to whatever the case may be. But do they ever teach you who responds or how to respond to a QWR? What happens if a borrower files a counterclaim lawsuit against you? What happens if there is another lien holder that files a claim that believes that they should be in first position, not you? What happens if your property is secured by a mobile home that is still on blocks, and even though it's in a deed with the VIN, it's still at the Department of Registry or Motor Vehicles is a not real property, but personal property? How do you overcome those? Now, these are the issues that you constantly will run in many instances. We had one where our entity name was taken in a given state, and as part of a foreclosure process, the borrower said, I don't have to respond because your entity that you are doing business as in our state is not the entity on the deed, because that entity was already taken. How do you navigate that? And this is why having good attorneys and some understanding and experience helps out significantly. So it's not easy. Can it be done? Yes. It's not difficult in the sense of something that you can learn, but it's also not something that you can just go do in a weekend. I saw the same thing where when I was younger, I took one of those stock courses of how to invest in options. Come visit us for a weekend, and then the high pressure of the credit card machines in the back of the room. Sign up today for $10,000 or for $20,000. You got one-on-one training, and you can fly out to Salt Lake City, Utah, and work with some guru. I think it was one of those. That guy, his name Graziano, I think is his name, who's out there all the time pitching all of these different ways to make millions. But whatever it is, it's not easy, and it's not a get rich quick. Just telling people out there, have we had deals that were awesome? We've had deals that we bought and got paid $50,000 within a few weeks and made $50,000 within a few weeks because it got paid off or whatever case may be. Yeah, I've done 600 plus deals. Of course I'm going to have a deal like that, but I'm not going to use that as my whole marketing shtick, because it's not. It's about getting singles and doubles. And here's a bonus. I'll give you my top 5. Here is the bonus that I will add. Number 6, 5A. I'll skip 6, go to 7 because I like the number 7 for some reason, which is foreclosing is not always your best, most profitable option when you're dealing with non-performing notes. Many people think that, I'm just going to take back the property and I'm going to make all this money off of it. For us and the way we model things, typically at the end of the day, more profitable for us to work something out with the borrower, get them reperforming, and sell it back on the market. Because when you have to foreclose, you've got foreclosure time, you have foreclosure cost. You still, again, the value of that property could be off significantly because we don't get to see the inside of these properties. There's so many factors, but time is typically that biggest factor. And you're also working with a borrower who today, again, this is 2024, they're working with significant equity, most likely in the property. They're going to fight. So would you rather work with them to fight together to figure out a way to get them paying again, or fight against them in trying to foreclose where they have many options available to them, including temporary restraining orders, bankruptcy, getting an attorney, filing countersuit, have ways where they can delay that process. So take that effort and put it towards working a solution than trying to foreclose. Now, there's going to be times where the borrower is combative and you're going to, we may have to foreclose. But in most instances, as Lauren always says, most people just don't wake up one day and are talking about, I'm going to stop paying my mortgage today. Hope you enjoyed that bonus. Hope you enjoyed top 5 myths and realities of note investing. As always, if you want more material like this or more videos, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to subscribe to our Creating Wealth Simplified podcast. Thank you all for listening and enjoying this episode of Creating Wealth Simplified. Thank you for joining Lauren and I on this episode of the Creating Wealth Simplified podcast. Each week, we bring you expert education, experience, and information in a digestible format to help you identify investment opportunities so you can build wealth through real estate and take action toward your financial goals. Enjoy the show, share with a friend, or subscribe to the show and leave us a review.